Hey guys, it's the Gundam Boy, and today we're gonna be doing some, shocking.
Owie.
And today we're looking at the arc thrower.
Never destroy our way of life! Yes! No!
You may proceed to extraction when ready.
I'm sorry it took so long to get to your video idea. Well, if you want to see your video idea be left into the dust like this, be sure to leave it in the comments down below and I'll try to get to it. So we're going to be looking at the Arc 3 Arc Thrower. That's a mouthful. It's a support weapon that can charge up and blast enemies with lightning, and it will chain through targets, including teammates, to go and strike extra enemies for more damage, while stunning some of the guys who can actually tank it. When it comes to using this weapon, there's literally nothing to it. Hold down the click and let go, and you'll fire a big bolt of lightning. There is a rhythm to firing this weapon, which allows you to fire it as fast as you can, but you gotta get used to it, and my hands are getting carpal tunnel from using this already. When it comes to using this weapon against the bugs, I'd say this thing functions pretty good as a get off me, stay over there, I got a taser electric thunder rod. Because against most of the chaff, it will kill them in a couple of zaps, and anybody who's a bit tankier will get stunned, which sets them up for another shot. Which is really good for people who are afraid of things like stalkers, because one shot on the stalker and that guy's stunned. And this weapon doesn't just fare good at close range, you can actually get a good amount of distance zapping enemies, with me being able to zap some enemies at 30 meters. Enemies like chargers, yeah, they can run at you, but if you keep zapping them consistently, that should stun them long enough to be able to kill them. But I'd say that's where this gun probably reaches its limit, because, going up against the bigger enemies like Impalers and Bile Titans, this thing is not really ideal for it. I think I'm gonna need a bigger taser. I think this weapon also falls into that weird category of medium pen support weapons, but it does have an armor pen capability to go through these guys. It just takes so long that it feels like I'm shooting them with the medium pen weapon. So with that established, be sure to bring something that could counter heavy units, because you're going to be wasting a lot of time pointing at these guys. And I don't want to sit there for 3 hours waiting at extract because you want to zap the Bile Titan to death. Get out of here! And moving on to the bot front, I just wanted to remind everybody that sometimes the arcs are a little inconsistent and may go off range, but against the bot troopers and scout striders, this thing has no problem just zapping them and killing them. Against the entire rank of chaff, this weapon is okay, I'd say, but I feel like it's a little bit more difficult to use the arc thrower against the bots just because they shoot back, even if I do get to stun them. Against things like berserkers, this thing will be great for stopping them from trying to maul you, but against things like heavy dev, sometimes I've watched the arc go straight into his shield. Sorry, I didn't have a joke for this. Skibbity. And if you want to increase your odds to get carpal tunnel, go and use the arc thrower against the factor strider, because this motherfucker took too many shots. Against the gunships, though, you can actually hit them, but you have to catch them. These guys will play Ringaronga Rosie with you, and you have to chase his ass around. Too bad he couldn't see my friend was back there with lightning and also zap him out of the air. This thing has some pretty good utility against things like Hulks, especially, because every blast on the Hulk will stun them. But I just have to say, my finger is starting to hurt from using this gun. This takes too long. I'd rather be using something else. On the illuminate front, this thing is perfect against majority of the enemies. I mean, up until a harvester, of course, but when you go up against things like overseers, this thing can zap those fucknuts with their big-ass Q-tips, so you can open them up for something more devastating, or you can just keep tasing them to death. And I'll just get it over now, because against things like the harvester, please don't use this. I don't want to watch you guys stand there and get annihilated by its lightning when you try to challenge them to a lightning battle. Yes, you are capable of killing it, but damn, it is just really, really boring. But against things like the Voteless, this thing is a monster against crowds, because when they line up, they create the perfect chain link monkey fence to blast everybody with lightning. Like, no dip, this thing is amazing for crowd controlling. Like, you can get lines of these dudes and just blast them, and it will clear out that street within minutes. Against the flying snitch, you can also reset this guy's memory, but I rather shoot him in the face because I hate him. I think this also does a number against things like the elevated ones because it does stun them and hold them in air for a bit, but I think it still lacks in how much it actually stuns. It held him for like half a second there and he just like started flying around again because elevated ones gotta be the most annoying enemy, am I right? Fucking by itself, I'd say it's alright. It comes to higher difficulties, it struggles a little bit, especially when there's a horde of enemy units. And not the small ones, I'm talking about the big ones. And with the future of giant bug holes and giant factory strider machines, I can see this weapon struggling a bit. But to help it out, we got extra things like backpacks. So let's look at some stuff that we could use alongside the arc thrower to help its effectiveness. The newly buffed guard dog can be amazing buddy to help keep things like tendrils from smacking you when you're trying to charge up your next bolt and push enemies off of you. And for those of you that like to get away before things get too dicey, jetpack can be a good way to jump off and get some range to use your lightning again. Going on the defensive, you could use things like the arc tower to help hold positions, but be sure to look out as they do zap you too. Sentry turrets can be a good way to also hold defensive positions as they can help dilute some of the fire from chasing you so that you can still blast them, kind of pairing together to stun the enemy as your sentry mows them down. But the gas guard dog is an effective weapon to use against them while pairing it with this arc thrower because it will get in their face and shit on them. Otherwise, I can't really think of anything else. I'm sure you guys can think of something to add on to help the arc thrower. Just because it's not my personal favorite weapon. I mean, my finger gets busted the fuck up from firing even the sickle over and over again, but the arc thrower really hurts my finger. But that's it from me. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 blah.